Here's how to get a great clean sound from your guitar amp, whether you're playing acoustic-like chords, boxy-style jazz riffs, or clean country licks. And I'm going to share some tips as well that will help keep it really clear and buzz-free. Now the exact settings will vary from amp to amp because they're all slightly different, but the general principles that we're going to cover will apply to whatever you're using. Now to start with, if you're using a multi-channel amp, make sure that you're using the clean channel, and if you're using a modeling amp, make sure that you're using a clean or low overdrive setting. Now let's start with the gain knob, which basically sets how much distortion we have. So we'll want it quite low, but not at 0, or else your amp just isn't going to make a sound. So set it at 12 o'clock and then just roll it back until the sound clears up. I generally find that anywhere between 9 and 10 o'clock works good for me on most amps. Now your amp will get a bit quieter as you turn down the gain, so you'll need to turn up the master volume to compensate for that drop in sound. You might go back and forth a few times balancing these, but a good rule to remember is use the gain knob or channel volume to set the overall tone, and use the master volume to set the overall loudness. If you're getting any buzzing or humming at this stage, don't worry too much because we're going to look at that in a bit. Now we've got the EQ controls, which are our treble, middle and bass. So we'll start with them all set to 12 o'clock. Then what I like to do is I'll roll off the bass to around 10 o'clock and I'll boost the treble to about 1 o'clock. And what this does is it takes out some of the boominess from the bass, which can muddy your clean tone, while also giving you a little bit of extra brightness from the treble. Now some beginner amps will just have a single tone knob instead of those 3 EQ knobs. If you've got that, just make sure to turn it slightly above halfway. I also recommend dialing back the volume knob on your guitar as well, very slightly, because I find that that helps clean up my sound a little bit more as well. Now this is a really good bass for a clean sound, and from here you can go and experiment with the different settings and find a sound that really works for you. But here's a few things that you might want to try out. If you want a more acoustic-like sound, you can try switching to your guitar's neck pickup, because that will give your guitar a richer, warmer tone. But you might want to add a little bit more treble on the amp to keep some of that brightness. If your amp has reverb, then adding just a little bit will help everything ring out more as well, which can give it more of that acoustic feel. Now for a jazz sound, we're also going to use the neck pickup, but we're going to roll down the tone knob on the guitar to get a more woolly, muffled sound. And we're going to turn up the middle EQ knob on our amp for a bit more boxiness and punch. And for a brighter, snappier sound that works great for things like country, funk and rock, try switching to your guitar's bridge pickup, because that has a little bit more cut and a little bit more bite to it. Make sure that your guitar's volume is turned all the way up, not your amp's volume, and add a little bit of extra treble on your amp just to give it a little bit more twang. This also works great for that Tim Henson Ichikanito sound, but for that specific sound, I'd recommend adding a compressor pedal or a compressor effect if you've got it on your amp. This basically just squishes your guitar signal down, so the quieter stuff gets a little bit louder, which means that you get more definition and more sustain from your sound without compromising on your clean tone. Now, if you've got any buzz, there's a few things you can try to get rid of it. The first is if you're using single coil pickups, make sure that you're not pointing it towards any electric equipment like your amp, a computer, or any electric lights, for example. Try facing your guitar somewhere else to see if that helps. If the buzzing's quite noticeable and goes away when you touch the strings, then it's probably a grounding issue with your guitar. So you just need to check the wiring and make sure that everything is properly grounded. If you're not comfortable doing that, take it to your local guitar store because they'll know what to do. Now if it's a physical buzz, like a buzzing string when you're playing, then you probably just need to set up your guitar. And I've got a video showing you exactly how to do that step by step in the description below. It's a pretty straightforward process to follow, but again, if you're not comfortable doing that, then you can take it to your local guitar store. They'll be able to sort it for you. Now I'll also say that if you're using a smaller amp, like the ones that come in those beginner guitar kits, these can sound a little bit rattly and buzzy no matter what, just because of their size, so just bear that in mind. But you can tame the worst of it just by turning the volume a little bit lower. And that's it. Now you've got a nice clean guitar tone and you're ready to play. Let me know how you got on in the comments down below, and thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.